And we are going to begin. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in all of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. This is the shit. Woo! Oh my gosh, yumminess. That could have been more perfect. Oh, what's going on? Wow, welcome you guys. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us today to play with us. Because that is the one thing that we want. That's like what this is all about, you guys, is it's so much fun when we have people to play with.
Yes.
Like, right? Like when you're thinking about imagination and pretend and play, right? Well, you gotta have playmates. It's just so much more fun. So thank you guys for being here with us today. Really appreciate it. We're gonna be diving into a little bit about the world of imagination, what we've been experiencing as we
have opened up ours.
And playing with imagination. And imagination, you guys, is a frequency. It's a frequency. And when we tap into that frequency, holy fuck. That's all I gotta say. And for her word, it's
fucking delicious.
Yeah. Basically, those are her words. We're like, oh my gosh, because it's magic, you guys. It is magic happening. Imagination, magic. They come from the same root word. So we're going to be diving into different pieces about imagination and how this is also correlating with a experience that we're creating for you all that we hope you guys will join in and play with us. That is happening the beginning of March here in St. George, Utah, March 2nd and 3rd. An experience called Embody Her. And so in this experiencing, we will be using and playing with our imagination. We'll be using a lot of that. And so we wanted to share a little bit about our experience with that and just why imagination is so important. It's such an incredible tool to play with. And again, really about the frequency of imagination. So we're going to go into the kind of the outline that we shared with you on that was on the Facebook, that we shared with you on Facebook about a world of pure imagination. That at the bottom we're like, hey, come play with this on this webinar. We're going to dive into those pieces a little bit more. So I'll probably let you start in.
Yep.
And I'm gonna let you go through and be like, okay,
so,
here.
One thing I want to just tap on first is was always been a person who has been so much in the left side of my brain that trying to be in my right side felt foreign, felt scary sometimes, felt like this is so stupid. Like,
and if you can correlate with that, can I get I get you in the chat box below. Come on, you guys. I want you guys to be engaging with us today too. So we're gonna pull that up. I get it. Yeah. So keep going.
Yes. So so many, like, that's a huge thing. I went to an event the other day, and I'm sitting at this table full of women, and they're all talking about, they're all in their brain. They're all just talking about, oh, I got to do this, 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 and this, and this. And I can't even imagine what life would be like without having to have my schedules and my list and everything to guide me and direct me and be super scheduled. And I'm like laughing because I'm like, that was me, like less than me, probably like a year ago, like to the point of like every day had to look a certain way. I was very lined out and structured, and structure is beautiful. There is a super yummy place for that. But the magic that happens when you open yourself to what seems like unrealistic possibility,
Literally,
it shifts everything. Like she said, it's a frequency, and when you tap into that, your whole world shifts and everything gets flipped upside down in those most beautiful, amazing ways. And it becomes play. Like, we are these kids at heart, and we're not letting those children out through structure. Kids don't want freaking rules. Kids want to roam free. They want to play. They want to be whoever the hell they want to be. Like, at what point do we stop telling ourselves that it's okay to not dream? Yeah. Like, come on, guys. This is our superpower as human beings.
Something that's popping into that I'm going to be going into curiosity about, as you're even saying that, and contemplation is like, there's a piece where structure is absolutely important. And actually what we're doing with this is we are bringing in a structured piece of it, because there's a very important part about action and implementation and all of that. But even that, like, where is it the structure comes in? Like, when we think of as a child, and I would love this to be a conversation, you guys, like, if you guys have some thoughts, I would love to hear it. Same with you, Karen. But like, again, they just want to play. They want to just follow their heart and their dreams and their bliss, and they're just going and moving and being, right? They're being, and they're just in their imagination. And so, like, where does the structure come in?
It's like inside of us. We have this little child, and we have our parent self inside of us. How do we get both of those to flow together and actually bring what's here out into the world? It really is about bringing the two together and honoring both.
Yes, I love that. And I think there's more juiciness that I'm excited to really feel into. And I do know that part of that is we're going to talk about imagination with action, right? That's where it's at. You know, implementation and embodiment. You guys. So, all right. So,
okay. So back to what back to one of the things I was saying. So I had a hard time with it. I did not. I remember writing some of my, like, I love to write, and I'm always like, I only want to write what's real. But what's real is what I made real from my imagination beforehand. So, is it really what's real, or is it what I had created in my mind already? And so I've learned that through my imagination, through actually believing that something else was possible, believing in the magic of life, and taking that into my body and actually acting it out in life, watching every one of my relationships shift. Watching the way my husband shows up so much differently than he ever has before, the way my kids interact with me, the way I feel so much more present with my body, with my soul, and I'm watching the creations just fall into place effortlessly.
Yeah, and it gives you a new reference point of I'm the creator of my reality. Like, I'm experiencing that more and more. Again, it's one thing to get that here, like, I'm the creator of my reality, right? Like, yeah, I'm the creator. And the more and more I accept that, the more and more I take responsibility, right? Like, I'm the creator of this, right? And there's a level two of like, oh yeah, like, I created this into my life, which is also like, that's a beautiful experience in itself. But now what we're experiencing, and like to be experiencing, like witnessing this play come to life, and like, I fucking created this, like, I'm the one that like manipulated this matter and brought this into like existence, and like watching it play out, like, this is my creation.
I mean, you've heard the statement, life is a game. It literally is a game. It's a play, and you have no idea how magical and delicious it can feel until you tap into that space.
Yeah.
And we're going to be giving you a couple awesome ways to tap into that space. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Yes.
I want to hear some more about your experience though, where like what, I mean, I know she shared so much about Scarlett and everything that has shifted in her life, but what is some of the biggest profound parts that have really brought up the magic for you?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, wait, I just have to share one thing.
There's something that comes,
yep.
I'm like, I have so many things.
So here's Miss Scarlett, okay? This lady comes out in the most unexpected, amazing times.
Like
last night blew my mind. It is like the perfect, all of a sudden we're sitting around and all of a sudden this song, like she's like, we're all taking turns getting up and just, you know, singing, dancing, having some fun. She's like, hey, who's next? And all of a sudden Scarlett's song comes on. She goes, oh, I guess I am next. She stands up there and blows my mind with this most beautiful, graceful song that is just so delicious. And the magic that conspired after that blew my mind. What happens when one person taps into their imagination and taps in and embodies that and brings it out and shares it with other people? Next thing you know, everybody in the room was pulling out pieces of them I have never seen before. Never. It's like one person brings that piece to life and you affect every single person in there to respond and match that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And people who were extremely shy, people who would never in a million years get up and move their bodies and sing and have these voices the way they, and just the imagination that came out, I'm witnessing person after person after person. And I'm just like, this is so exciting. Look what she did. And look what they did in the midst of it all. It was so phenomenal.
Thank you. It was. And even that, like, it's also, it is a level of co-creation, right? Mm-hmm. Like we did.
Yes.
We did. Yes. I want to mention that. And even that, it was actually funny because two of our friends actually did something before that. And what they, you know, because they started, because we had talked about like, let's show up and like share, you know, like do a little song for each other. Or, so we like to play. Okay. So me and my friends were freaking awesome. And that's what I love about my friends is our willingness to play, our willingness to be fully ourselves, our willingness to be our full expression in the world. And we don't care what the fuck we look like, you know, like we get super silly, we get super weird, and we're just in like imagination. And so once this, like a friend of ours tossed this idea and some were like, well, maybe, you know, kind of just the fear, well, that's not my thing. Right. And others was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. So they, of course, like, and they're like, we'll go first. And they stepped up like onto this stage. Like it was just a living room floor, but it was like the stage, and they owned it, and they just brought forth this beautiful piece that had all of us like
totally jaws dropped.
Oh my God.
Totally lit on fire.
We were all just like, I mean, I don't know. Like our bodies were just lit up. Our hearts were lit up. We're like, more. Like it was so, like it hit so many pieces and hit home in so many ways for all of us, which that was that piece. And then, so it actually even wasn't me. Like I was like, although I knew I was going to do it, I was like, okay, yeah, who's next? You know? And then this is the crazy thing. Like Scarlett's song, how the hell did it show up?
I don't know.
This is how it is, you guys. This is how it's been. And that's been the element of surprise, which imagination is about surprises. It surprises you all the freaking time. And that's been one of the pieces with my experience is how often I'm surprised. And then I'm surprised, but then I'm not surprised because I'm like, that's that part. I'm like, oh my God, I totally created that. Of course I did. So I'm not surprised, but it's like a confirmation. It's a knowing of like, yes, this is how it gets to be. Yes, I freaking created this. I brought this to life. Like, yes. And it took people to come in, but it started with me. And that's what she's saying too. It's like, everybody's showing up completely different, right? But it wasn't that like them. It was her. Like, she's the one that stepped in. She's the one that made the commitment. She's the one that chose in. She's the one that was like, I don't care if nobody shows up. But that's never the case. Like, never the case. You make that commitment and the universe is there. Like, it always shows up for you. Like, it cannot. That's a part of life.
Yep.
It's part of the laws of the universe.
Yep.
And so it meets you and it shows up for you in the most unexpected and surprising way. So imagination is about unexpected, like unexpectedness or whatever. Imagination is about magic. It's about surprise.
Yep.
So that's been, I mean, I could just talk all day about this. This has been so much fun, you guys. But I love what you were talking about is getting over into that right brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how it's so like, you know, when we're up here.
So when we're up here, we think imagination isn't real, that it's just pretend, which I have a little fun little thing on pretending for you. How often do you tell yourself that imagination isn't real or magic isn't real? And what I've gotten from my own experience is the more that I've embodied it, and that's the key, the more that I've embodied my own imagination, that is what made it real. That's when I tapped into those places of me that I'm like walking throughout life, and it's no longer this piece that I've imagined, it's who I am. It is who I am walking throughout life. It's the way I'm responding to life.
Yes.
And I'm moving through life as that now. It has become real. And that's all pretending is. Pretending. It's the pre part of tending to your future. You are literally setting yourself up. You guys, we set ourselves up all the time. Why not do it in a way that you're aware of how you're doing it,
right?
And set yourself up in the most beautiful way? You're tending to your future right here, right now.
And to go right into that, which is perfect, right? Bringing it. So some of you guys may have heard this, but so I went for a hike the other day with my daughter. And of course, she's tapping into this frequency. You guys, this is what I've been fucking emitting everywhere. So my husband's tapping into it, my daughter, like all this kind of stuff, right? She knows, but I'm like, why? All the things she could have said, why did she just say this? She goes, Mama, we're just out playing in nature. And it was super interesting because it's very sometimes hard for my daughter to like get into imagination even and pretend in one sense. It's like she always has to have somebody to be playing with. I'm like, can't you just go play in your room and like play with your dolls and do pretend and like, no, it's like so hard. She's like, no, I want someone to be with me 24/7, engaging, play. So what I was noticing on this hike is she wasn't just by me, like she was off, which that's part of why I take her on hikes and just us, like, because she can just roam. I'm not like, no, don't go by this cliff. No, these rocks are freaking huge where I live, like these big red mountains. And I just let her go and she just has the time of her life. Well, she was playing with her imagination. So we went up to this and she's like, this rock. And she's like, Mom, come here quick. We go over and there's a pool of water that had collected from all the rain that we're getting here. It's been so yummy. There was this big, and she's like, look at this, Mom. And it was really beautiful. I was like, yeah. She's like, Mom, this is where the fairies live. And I was like, yes, yep. She's like, fairies and something else. And then she goes, Mom, and this is where the unicorns stop to drink. I'm like, damn right they are, because I need a little drink, but I'm not going to touch that water. But yes, the unicorns definitely stop. So she's already like in this pretend. And then she's going over, and I noticed she's like totally just like making up stuff. Like, I was like, dang, okay. I sit down on a rock, you guys, and I just laid back and I started singing. And she comes up to me and she goes, Mom, do you know what an imaginarian is? And I was like, you guys, I've never heard this fucking word, ever. And I'm like, no, babe, what is it? And she goes, it's where you imagine so much that you bring that thing to life. And I'm like, my jaw drops and I'm just like, yeah, I know. I'm experiencing that. I'm like, I'm a fucking imaginarian. And she just ran off and played again. And I'm like, what? Out of all like times in my life, like everything we do, like she comes up and shares that with me. She's like literally tapping into it. And then I go home, you guys, and I looked up the word and it's a freaking word. Imaginarian. And it's like that. It's something like that where it's like you bring this thing to life. And I'm like, what the crap? I am just like, so that's just to follow in like exactly what you just said is like, bringing this into life. Like you're the creation, and what do you want to bring into creation? What do you want to birth into existence? Because we can choose how that looks.
Because it is very, very real. It all starts with the believing it, and that's the other piece, the trust piece.
Yeah.
Where is it that you don't trust that it isn't real? Where do you not trust the magic, the surprises, everything else that's right here available to you? It's just waiting for you to embody it. The moment you embody that magic, is the moment it's real. But before that requires the trust.
Mm-hmm. Amen. So let's pull up our little thing and let's just make sure we're oh, you have it right here. Okay. Go ahead and let's just start right in this or into that. And if you want, you can even read from that so that we can kind of give them a little bit of context. Okay, guys. Natasha, I so resonate with all of this. This last year, I've laughed and cried over the reality of this over the last year, right? Oh my gosh. And part of that, and that's what I love so much, you guys, and what I'm so passionate about is play. Like what we can do through play, what we can create through play, right? What, like, again, it's like what I talk about is like, we don't need to go diving for that shit or like, oh, like these are what's wrong with me and all these problems and stuff like that. Notice what happens when you step into creation.
Here's a hint. It's not about your scars. It's all about the heart.
So when we step into creation, you guys, those things automatically come up, right? First of all. And then through that, it's like we step into creation, like, what do we want to create? Like, and even, I mean, that can be in all sorts of ways. That could be, like I want to create a business, or I want to create connection, or like all sorts of things. But as more and more too, as we're playing with these archetypes, and as we're stepping into our imagination and pretend and play and embodiment, like then watching everything come into creation, like come into life, it's just been a whole new game.
So delicious.
It's so fun, you guys. It's so fun. We're having the time of our life, right? Like, honestly, this is like the best I've ever experienced life.
Oh yeah,
you guys,
hands down the best. Like, I'm waking up going, is this real life? Is this real life? And I'm like, no, it's still my imagination, and it's real, and it's real, and it's real.
But it is. Me and like some of our friends too that we play, like we're like, is this real? And we're like, this is real. Like, this is real life. This is how it gets to be. Like, so juicy, so delicious, so much gratitude, so much love, so much connection. Oh, it's amazing. And Valerie, we would love to experience that with you. And we would love for you to experience that. And so fun, you guys, when we can share these experiences together.
Valerie says, I love that you're talking about this. I have such vivid dreams and imagination and have spent so much time finding the balance of my inner child and inner parent in the last year so I can create what I love.
Yes. And I see that, Val.
You're amazing.
Yes. So through play, we can do this through play. And that's kind of all I'm interested in these days. I did things really hard for a really long time, and it was really intense, and, it's perfect. Because it brought me to where I am today. And through that, we can really, through play, you guys, we activate parts of ourselves. Play, again, is a frequency. What frequency are you living at? Because I'm really liking this play frequency, this imagination, like, magic.
And how often we hear people say that, well, I can't go play, I have to go do all these other things, as if they don't believe play is possible in every aspect of your life. It really is. It's tapping into that frequency, so no matter what you do, it is done through play. And where does that start? That starts with your thoughts.
Okay. We're diving
juicy
in.
Stuff. Having the ability to focus our frequency to our thoughts is powerful. Super, super powerful. If you were to like start writing down and taking a mental note of all the different thoughts that go through your mind, which is probably impossible because of how many damn thoughts we have go through our mind. But if you just start noticing those thoughts, how often are those thoughts aligned with the frequency of imagination, of play, of creation, of those things that light your heart up? And how often are those thoughts heavy, weigh you down, feel like they're actually taking you out of your heart, out of the right side of your brain, out of life, a life that's actually fun to live? Those thoughts that can align with that frequency, that's where it begins. And it's learning to retrain our thoughts to be in alignment with our highest commitments to ourselves. That's where the juice starts.
Right. So that's part of what we're doing in Embody Her is we are creating new neural pathways, right? And it's through specific things that we're going to be doing in the experience, in the play shop. This is really what we're doing, is we're playing as we do that, and we're focusing, like, what do we want to focus on, right? So think about that for a second. Like, you know, we can think about all the shit, we can think about all the problems, like all of that, or we can think about what is it that we most want to create. So honestly, I'd love to hear in the message board, in the chat, you guys, or if you guys are listening to this on the replay, please play with this. I would love to hear down, you know, in the comments and things like that. What is that part? Like, what's that part of you that you're ready to step into, right? This is what we're talking about, is what parts of you is wanting to come to life? What part of you is wanting to be ignited? What part of you are you wanting to play with? What part of you do you want to focus on? Or what's something you want to focus on, okay? So, like, let's just toss some things to kind of give them some ideas. You know, maybe it's a playful side. That was one of her husbands. So as we've been doing this, right? Like, our husbands are like,
he's been in there.
What the hell is going on?
They've been in there embodying their own. Oh, it's so yummy.
And so we played with them, like, yeah, what about you, right? And he's like, well, and actually both of them, you guys, what it is, their playful side, right?
Both of them.
Because, like, they're just like, this
is
so fun. I want to play. Like, okay, come on. You guys, so I can only speak of I can kind of speak for both of us.
You can.
Our husbands have been way more playful than we've ever experienced before. Ever. They are doing things that I've never seen them do. Both of them. Because that's how, you know, we kind of just, we're all just meshed.
It's like they just completely dropped the walls and they're like, oh, we're
literally, neighbors. It was like, hey. Like, it's just like so yummy. So I was literally saying, I'm like seeing her husband and I'm like, what the crap? What the heck?
It's like the seriousness just dropped down and they're like, come here. And they're mauling us with big bear hugs and they're jumping up and down with joy.
And they're doing sexy dances for us like all the fucking time. And I'm like, what is this? Is this real? Yes, this is real. Wait, did we create this? Yes, we did create this. So, like, again, what are those things that it's like, you know, a part of you too that you hide, or a part of you that's it's a little too much. Those are some really good things of like, that's too much. I can't bring that part of me out.
But underneath it all, there's this taste. You're just like, ooh, I would love to feel that free, to be that.
Yeah.
But then you tell yourself, well, wait, my thoughts also go to, well, what if my family think?
I can't do that.
Oh, that would be embarrassing to do there. Like,
right? So one of the things we're going to be doing is like all that away. We're going to start there with our thoughts. What are we going to focus on? What are we creating? What are you ready to bring to life? What are you ready to ignite, right? And we're going to do that in some really awesome ways and freaking playful ways. So we'll start with that, because even that, like, it's going to be all playful. We'll be like, no, not like that.
Well, and I even encourage you, like, even if wherever you are in the world, I know that Carly, like, for example, isn't she over in, I don't know where you're at, Carly, Europe, somewhere like that?
Coming soon.
Like, I know.
We both are.
Yeah, Carly, we're gonna come.
We're gonna let you know as soon as our flights are booked, which is happening soon. So, anyways,
start noticing those thoughts, and the second your thoughts take you out of the game, course correct. It is a practice. It's learning to refine those thoughts. And the moment it's not about beating yourself up. It's about asking yourself, oh, realign. Don't let yourself go down the rabbit hole. What is it called? What shall we call it?
Oh, our girlfriend. It's the yabbit hole.
The yabbit hole.
Yeah, but. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but. Ah! Nope. See, that's where we're going to say, oh, no.
And it doesn't matter how important you think it is or how much you need to say that one sentence because you got to get it off your chest. No. It's the awesome part. No.
I know. No. I know. I love it.
Don't even go there.
And we're going to support you with that. We're not even going to let you go, right?
No.
Okay.
The more you can start doing that with yourself, you interrupt those neural pathways, and you start to rewire a different pattern.
Because everything after a but, you guys, is a story. What do you want your story to be like?
That is the imagination piece.
What are you speaking out to the universe? You're creating it. Every single day you're talking about your shit or how this is with life and blah, blah, blah. And people are like, well, you could do this, or you could, you know, you could go to this retreat. You could this. And it's like, yeah, but I blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't have the money. Yeah, but it's going to be, yeah, but no.
Come back here. And if you can't do anything, just put a damn smile on your face like this and sit there and go,
right?
I'm choosing to not believe the thoughts. I'm choosing to not believe the thoughts. And what do those thoughts evoke? Those thoughts will evoke those emotions.
That's where we're going next.
So you will notice those thoughts. Even if that thought was there for a moment, you might have that anger. You might have that sadness. Notice it without the story. There's no story necessary. It's just energy. Energy is going to move through the body. It's going to move wherever it needs to go. And if you detach the story from it, that is when it is allowed to move the way it needs to move. It no longer stays stuck in a certain part of our body. And if you start tuning into the body, you notice the constriction. You notice where it is you want to start breathing again. Start breathing into that emotion, that feeling that is arising within you. Breath will take you there. Breath will ignite those feelings and emotions to move in the most beautiful, delicious ways. Notice that without the story, that's where the magic happens.
And that's one of the things that we'll be evoking is emotion. Because again, it's about feeling that. It's about the feeling body, and that's what we're tapping so big into is our body, right? We're embodying it. It's the feeling, right? So we're gonna focus and we're gonna tap into that feeling. That is, they all play their part, you guys. We can't be like, oh, no thoughts, no emotion. Like, no. But it's part of the level of manifestation where you bring these things to life is that feeling. So how would you, what would that look like? Which I love here. I want to live in my playful side so much more. I love that. Yes, I'm going to come play. Yes, Carly, please come play with us on the big red rocks. So we're thinking that, and then what are those feelings? So again, I did this a little Instagram live the other day, and I was just sharing real quick, when you think about this part of you that you want to really embody, or maybe think, that, or if you can't quite think of that, like what's somebody that you look up to? Who's somebody in your life, or somebody, you may not even know this person, but you're like, what is it that I just love about this person? Maybe it's your favorite singer or actress or this or that, and you're just like, I freaking love her. What is that thing? Like, she's super playful. She's super funny. She's really sensual, and she just owns her sexual nature. She's confident, or she just shows up and she bees her full of herself. Like, what are those things, right? And we're going through our thoughts, through our feelings, all of these things, we're going to be bringing that into existence. This is this part of you. We're all of it, you guys. We are all of it. And that's why we're here. That is why we're here, because we want to experience it all. We want to feel it all, And what is it that you most want to experience? What is it that you most want to feel? And it's going to be different for everybody, I want to come down to the planet this time because I want to experience what it's like to be so massively in physical pain. Or I want to experience imagination. I want to experience ecstasy. Well, I want to experience rapture. Well, I want to experience delight. Well, I want to experience confusion. And I want to experience doubt. And I want to experience pain. Like, we can experience it all. And is there any difference? No. Except your judgment about it. But what do you want to bring to life? Like, what do you want to step into? Like, can we start to step into these higher frequencies and like really integrate these pieces into our being, right? We embody that. when we do that, everything changes, you guys. Everything in your life transforms, and it just gets to be better and better. I get to feel more at home in my body. I get to feel more at home on this planet. I get to show up for myself and for the world. Like, I get to experience life in a completely different way. And none of it's good or wrong or, bad. Like, that they're over there creating shit. That's awesome. I hope you're enjoying it, right? And I've been there. That's okay. Like, if you're over there creating that, that's awesome. I'm over here and I'm creating this, and this is what I want to create. This is like what I want to experience. I want to continuously raise my vibe because I know what it feels like to feel ickiness and stickiness and like, I experienced that, and I want to experience something different. What does space feel like in my body? What does delight feel like in my body? What does pleasure feel like in my body? Like, I know pain. I want to experience pleasure. So you get to choose.
You do.
That's what it's all about. Choice. You get to choose how this looks.
And that right there, the choice, is what leads to the action. What leads that piece that we embody. We take action through embodiment.
Yes. So imagination with action is where the magic is. So, we get to implement this, right? We get to integrate this. We get to embody this within our being. And when we do, that's where everything just starts to come. That's right. Like, literally, the universe shows up and it meets you because it's meeting that frequency, right? I'm at this frequency. I'm embodying that frequency. And so life it's just the physics. It's just how it happens. It has to. And it's magic, right, you guys? So what we're doing is we're doing magic, literally. Imagination, again, they come from the same root. Ma, mother, mater, ma. We are manipulating matter. Whoa. Whoa. Dude, we are so cool. We are so cool.
Did you know that we can manipulate matter? We're the magicians.
Right? And when you know how to manipulate in a conscious way, it's been something that I've been learning about myself. It's actually something I've been learning about my life's work, who I am. Part of my life's work is artfulness. And when I first saw that, I'm like, artfulness? What is that? Oh, you guys. It's through ego. It's through play. It's through manipulation, but in a way at a high frequency. Right? Again, there's all these different ways, right? We can have our judgment too. Like, there's a way that we can manipulate our experience. When we're trying to do that, and it's like we're resisting it and judging it and all that kind of stuff, right? We're trying to manipulate it and control it, right?
There's a difference between the control and the allow.
Yes.
This is so juicy.
So we're just allowing, and that's part of the imagination too, is we step out of the way, you guys. We let go of the expectations of how it looks. And that's part of imagination, you guys. I want you to note that. It's part of the imagination is we get to envision this. We get to embody, like we get to start to bring this in, but we let go of the expectation of how it looks like, right? We allow, we surrender, we open, we trust. These things are so freaking important. When we do, boom, 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 boom. It just literally comes to life and it blows your mind. You're like, oh my gosh, what? Whoa, this feels so awesome. Here we are, right?
How can you get mad if there is no expectation?
Right?
Like,
then that's where the element of surprise comes in. Then you're just blown away and you're surprised over and over and over. You're like, oh my gosh, whoa, whoa. Like, and we're going to play with this too, because there's going to be a part of you that's going to want to go here. And that's what we're talking about again, is we want to go to the right side brain and we're trying to figure it out. Oh my gosh, well, it needs to look this way. Or we're trying to okay, I want to bring this to life. No. So we'll do different experiences and we'll support.
We're actually going to give you a few tips in just a minute on how to get yourself out.
But the one thing I want to tap on, one more thing real quick, is that manipulation, is the art, right? Right? So even that part of me, this artfulness and art, Natasha, you know it so well, girl, huh? Art is manipulation, right? And it's through, your imagination is a source of art. You are a work of art, you guys. You are a work of art. And we bring that to life through shape, through color, through form, through movement. And these things are what we'll be playing with more and more and more. Okay, so it's art. Imagination is art. And it's just like that, right? In order to create a piece of art, what do we need? Our imagination. And it's also really beautiful when we can take those experiences, whatever that is, even if it's like, I'm not having like this best experience, right? You know, I'm kind of in this, you know, anger, right? Like say I'm just really upset and this and that or sad or whatever. And I bring that through art. I'm manipulating that and I'm creating something out of that. And through that is alchemy. Through that is magic. And imagination is alchemy at its finest.
Dancing with divinity. It is. It's a dance. It's the movement of life happening right before your eyes. It is you moving with life, you embodying it. And when I say embody, I mean that you are bringing in every thought, every feeling, every sensation into your body of how that moves in life from what you have consciously chosen it to be.
Yes.
And also be prepared for the surprises of what it brings you as you move through that and what you start to notice in your body and the new sensations that you were never even aware of to begin with.
Oh my God. This. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, we're getting kind of close to the end, so I want to stay on track. We're going to be wrapping up soon. Two things I want you to share a little bit about imagination is your limit, and then we're going to give you a way to tap into your imagination. So I want you to share that.
So with imagination is your limit. I've heard that said many, many times, but truly it is your limit. As far as you can allow your imagination to go is as much as your life will be able to create. If you want to create so much more, so much bigger, start getting outside of your head, way beyond what you ever thought was possible. When you can't sit there and think anything more, think again. Think again and again and again and stretch those limits, stretch those boundaries. Get yourself in new environments. Bring yourself outside. Start touching and feeling new things. Ask yourself, what is one new thing that I get to do today? And go do that thing. It will spark a new idea, a new thought, a new feeling. It will invoke new emotions.
This is one of the tips, you guys,
yes.
Right here.
Yes, yes, yes.
And one of the things that I just got. See, guys, I love this stuff. Okay, so imagination. I talk a lot about the power of our words, right? And I talk, you know, like about, like I'm very conscious of what I'm saying. Like, so when I'm saying I want, right? Or I desire, even there's with desire, we get to, you know, I get to be aware of that word and where I'm using it. So for me, I like to choose in my life words that I choose, I create. But, and so just I'm thinking like, oh, like when we're like, oh, I want this, or, you know, it's like, oh, trying to get that thing, like imagination is the limit, right? So it's like, yes, like that's part of imagination. Like, what is your wildest dreams? Can you trust in those things? Can you trust in that? So what is those wildest dreams of yours? And let's bring them into your imagination. Imagination, into curiosity, into wonder. Right? This is where the magic is, you guys. Into your imagination. So what if we played with imagination and imagination into creation, right? I create, right? So instead of being like, oh, I want this, you know, I need this, or blah, blah, blah. I imagine what I could create, you know, like, I'm going to step into my imagination, right? Not into want, not into need. I'm not going to try to control this. I'm not going to like step into lack of what I'm not. Like, you are it all. That's what we're talking about. So every time you say, I want peace, or even the other stuff, I mean, I get people all the time, I want the chaos to end and all the, you know, this drama, or, you know, I want money and this and that. No, what do you really want though? Like at the deepest core level, right? What do you really want? What I want to experience is peace. And want is a great word. It really depends on how you want to use it, but I'm very careful about where I place want. And there's a beautiful quote that just showed up in my space that when I'm in want, I'm not in being. When I'm wanting, I'm not in being. So we step back in
to being
who you already are. And that's just it. You want peace. You don't need peace. You are peace. Can you step into that right here, right now? Like, can you embody that, right? So what is it that you're wanting to experience? What is it that you're ready to embody? You know, but again, too, we're about implementing, integrating, embodying. So it's like, you get to experience this all the freaking time. It's not just this little taste here and there, which you can experience. Yep. I'll take you there. And that. Any of you guys have something? I'll take you there right freaking now. You're like, oh, but I need that. No, here, I'll give you an experience of peace right now. So you are it. It's here right now. Are you willing to step into that? But then it's another level of really embodying that, living that, being that, like, fully.
And we're going to go so fully into that on the Embody Her. That's where we're going to take you into implementing it and actually coming out with it being a regular practice.
Yeah. So I think the last thing
we're
going to give you another tip.
So help you at home, like, one of the greatest ways I have found to get into the right side of my brain, especially if I get into an argument or something, or I'm like wanting to be right, or I'm wanting to get super focused on all my to-dos and stop getting into like that space and I'm not in that flow. It's getting into the right side of the brain. Using your senses to do that is super, super powerful. Mm-hmm. So one of my favorite ways is my sense of smell. I've got this super nose that's like, can smell anything. But when I bring in a different scent, when you allow yourself to step in and have a different experience, here's a perfect example. I just realized I have this.
And there's a reason why.
Smelling a rose, smelling an essential oil, smelling anything that will it automatically triggers the right side of your brain and brings you here back into the right side and back down into your body. So what senses can you ignite within inside yourself the moment that you notice that you are stepping way heavy into the left side of the brain and you're not allowing yourself to be in that creative flow?
Yes. Senses is a great way. Connecting with your body. So tapping into our body. Again, we're right here. So scanning your body, noticing what you notice. What are you feeling within your body? Oh, I notice a little tightness in my neck and a little bit of pressure in my mid back. And I notice, this is me, you guys, what I'm experiencing right now. I'm noticing like pulsating sensations in my vagina and a rising energy within my chest. Okay, so coming back to the body and the process of coming back to the heart. This is what it's about. And that's part of this process too, is the more and more we open to this, we open to life, and we open up to love. We open up to these things, and it's the opening of the heart. This is one of the ways. Dropping into the body, senses.
And then one last piece I want to share. Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Movement. Moving your body. Where is it that energy you notice, especially after you scan yourself, wherever that spot is that's stuck, move it in a way that unlocks it. Move it however your body wants to move without it having to be a certain form.
Yes. And then the other thing I was going to say was creativity. Yes. So imagination, guys, again, is allowing your mind to be creative. It's allowing your mind to be resourceful. So when we step into creativity, right? So when we're stuck here and just like, oh, what's something that I could create, and that could be like some art or whatever. It's just imagination. What do you want to, you get to choose. So how do you want to be creative right now? Maybe you can be creative in your movement and open up movement in your body. Be creative with that. You could be creative with a piece of art, doing a piece of art. You could color, other ways could be creative. Literally, okay, I'm going to go create with my hair. I'm going to do something I've never done with it before. All these different ways that we can step into creativity. And
speaking of creation, we have created an amazing little offer gift for you, the ladies who are here on this thing.
And all that, come watch the replay.
Yep.
Keep going. I just want to be like, you get it too. Okay, so it's this entire weekend, you guys. We have an offer for you. We have a little treat, discount, I guess.
Yeah, we're offering 10% off for anyone who has seen the webinar and signs up.
And signs up this weekend. So we have the weekend. That's why I'm like, you catch the replay this weekend. If you sign up this weekend, we are offering the Embody Her experience for 10% off. And how that would happen, because you can go to the website, which we can post below, to sign up. But actually how you would sign up with this is reaching out to either Carmi or I through Facebook Messenger or whatever, saying, hey, I'm ready to commit. I'm in, and I'd like to get you payment or payments. So that's an option, you guys. Yes, it gets to be paid before in full before, but like I have a woman that she's making like $100 payments up to it. But you're committing. That's the biggest thing, is you're in and you're going to be putting a deposit down, like you're putting money down. So you can pay the full amount, or you can do 2 or 3 payments, but you'll be reaching out to us, because obviously if you go to the website, you're going to pay full price if you go in and you click. So you'll reach out to us. You're saying, I'm ready to play with you guys. I'm in. And then we will we'll let you know how to get payment to us. But that's it.
So here is the magic piece right here. All of this is great, but until you put it into practice, nothing will change. And that is why we have created this event. We've created it to be this space that is going to take it from here out here. If you are ready to fully embody those pieces of you.
You're ready to embody her, whatever that looks like. Her. What's that part inside of you that has just been ready to come out and play? It's like, hey, I want to be seen. Like, hey, like I want to be brought to life. There's a part of you guys, and all of us have it. I don't care who you are, because guess what? There's another part of me that is ready to be fully expressed, bigger than ever before. And I know what that piece is already. And that's why I was like, goodness, I need playmates. My friend. Do you want to play with me? She's like, yeah, I want to play with you, of course. This is so much fun. And then I'm like, well, we need more playmates. Let's see who we can get. So we're doing it. We're stepping into that next part of us too, that is ready to just come to life, like to go to a whole new level and to see what we create. Like, again, maybe it's not as amazing as Scarlett's been. And I'm going to have to let go of my expectations of that, because it's been so fucking unbelievable. But that's part of it. Like, that's part of it. And so I know what's possible. I know what's possible. So thank you guys for spending this hour with us. We so love you. I love seeing your faces. Nora, I see your face. I love you, sister. I'm so excited that you're going to be there. Thank you for thank you for being, committing and coming. Val, I love you. Natasha, I've seen your face all freaking day. You guys, I just want to see all of you. I want another part. I just want another goddess yumminess. Lynette, thank you for being here. Beautiful. And Carly, you were on. I love you. Oh, I love you so much. And anybody that's watching this on the replay, let us know you were here. We love you. Thank you so, so much. We hope that we get to play with you. Until next time. Oh my gosh, Nora, our pleasure. Lynette, our pleasure. Thank you guys.
Love you.